What is up, everybody? It's Trading Gas Money here, the SRNA that trades, and I want to talk about why I think critical care nurses make some of the best traders. I come from a critical care nursing background myself. I've been a trauma ICU nurse for the last 10 years, who is currently now in his first year in CRNA school, and I'm still trading and making money and living a pretty good life while I'm doing it. What I want to talk about is how bridging ICU skills are transferable to the trading floor. When we're trading, one of the biggest things is that we're managing our account, we're managing risk, and we have to look at our accounts like our patients, right? You manage your patients in the ICU, you're managing the drips, you're managing making sure that the patient is properly ventilating, you're managing sedation, you're managing pain. All of those things are managed. And if your patient's heart rate is too low, you make an intervention. If your patient's heart rate is too high or blood pressure is too high, you make an intervention. So it's the same thing with trading, right? Whenever something is going on with our account or the trade, we're constantly managing the trade. And in order to manage the trade, we have to manage our emotions. In order to properly care for this patient, we can't freak out when the heart rate is 140. We can't freak out when the blood pressure is starting to drop below 90 or when the map is below 65 or 60. We need to start making interventions in order to save the patient. We need to start making interventions in order to save your account. So if you're an ICU nurse or a critical care nurse, depending on whatever sector of ICU, MICU, TICU, PICU, NICU, you might want to watch this video to the very end if you're thinking about trying to develop a skill set that you can transfer your ICU skills to that may not be in the medical field directly. In the ICU, you have to use your critical thinking and rapid action skills, right? You're constantly titrating drips, you're managing sedation, and all of these things require you to act without hesitation. Why? Because hesitation costs your patient's life. Hesitation could be the difference between saving your patient's life and leaving him in critical condition or leaving them worse than how you came in on the shift. Sometimes if you see something that's going on, you need to assess the patient and make an intervention an intervention that is evidence-based. Traders are the same way, right? We got to react to things that we're seeing, and we have to make decisions or interventions in order to be able to capitalize on the market or in order to manage risk in order to protect our accounts, right? Because when you're trading, you're either making money, losing money, or money is flat. There's three things that's guaranteed in trading, or two things. You will make money and you will lose money. There's two things that's going to happen in the ICU that's guaranteed if your patient's on a lever-fed drip. It's either if there's no more lever-fed, the blood pressure is going to go down. If there's enough lever-fed, the blood pressure may sustain. If there's too much lever-fed going in, if you're running the rate too high, the blood pressure is going to be extremely high, right? So that's three things, right? Three things in trading is you can make money, lose money, or break even. So what I'm trying to say is that these skills are transferable. You need to be able to think fast. You need to make evidence-based decisions, and you need to have the same mindset that you have with your patient with your trading account. So we need to take profits aggressively when they're there. We need to cut losses aggressively if the losses are starting to pile up. We need to be able to make an intervention, because if you allow a loss to go too far, you can blow your entire account. So if you start with $1,000 and you're watching this, you got into a trade and everything you thought about the trade, you were hoping that it went right. The trade started going the wrong direction. Now you're negative 900, negative 500, negative 400. That's like watching your patient's blood pressure drop from a normal range to a critical range and not making an intervention. You're like hoping the blood pressure is going to come back up. You're like, oh man, if I just wait, the blood pressure will come back up. It's the same thing with your trading account. If I just wait, maybe my trading account, maybe I'll make the money back. The chances of that happening is slim to none in trading, right? I'm not saying that it can't go back up. What I'm saying is that you need to make an intervention to protect your capital. I'd rather you live to trade again than to hope that the money is gonna come back. So we need to take small losses, right? There's a difference between taking a $500 loss on one trade and losing $100 on 5 trades. If you lose $100 on 5 trades, it equals $500. If you lose $500 on one trade, it equals $500. One person lost on one trade, another person lost $500 on 5 trades. What are the odds that this person who took 5 trades is going to have one or two or maybe even 3 successful trades? It's going to take him a lot longer to lose all the money in his account versus the person who's losing $500 a day per trade. What I'm saying is, if you're an ICU or critical care nurse out there today, you know exactly how to manage risk. You know exactly how to make an intervention when it's absolutely necessary. You know exactly when to titrate the drips. You know exactly when to manage sedation if your patient is waking up. You know exactly when to give pain management or manage pain when the patient is starting to maybe move more, starting to grimace more. You're noticing that you need to be able to transfer or think about these things the same way you view your patient is how you should view your trading account. You need to manage it. If you made it this far, you're doing well, but let's keep going. You got to have emotional control under pressure. And this is one of the things that a lot of people struggle with. You have people who are very fearful, you have people who are very anxious, and some of these people come into the ICU and they say, "Oh, this is too intimidating. There's too much going on. There's too many lines, there's too many drips. I don't think I can work here." But you're there because you can do it. You can manage your emotions under pressure. Your patient is coding, you're leading the code. You know what to do. It's time to make a titration. You know what to do. You know when to call and collaborate with your physician team. You know how to call pharmacy and request certain things. You know how to make recommendations for maybe some things that you need because you've been watching this patient for the last 2-3 days, just like you'll watch a stock for the last 2-3 days, and you start learning the stock's behavior. You're learning the patient's behavior. You need to be able to manage your emotions. And if you already, as an ICU critical care nurse, that is one of the key things you need to know how to do, especially when your patient is crashing. You know, you need to be able to control your emotions of, I'm frantic, I'm panicking, and be able to act and think critically in those critical moments. So when you're managing a crisis like a seizure, a rebleed, you got to be calm in making decisions. It's the same thing with trading, right? If you're managing a trade, the trade is going up. You got to be calm, make decisions. Like, oh, I got to take profits. You can't get greedy because greed will blind you. And you say, oh my God, it's going to the moon. I'm going to make so much money. You got to take 10%, 20%, 30%. Even when the market is very volatile, you got to have the same emotional discipline when the trade is going the wrong way. You can't just be like, oh my God, I'm losing money. Oh my God, I hope it goes back up. What am I going to do? You got to remain calm and say, hey, the trade didn't work out. Our intervention didn't work out. We need something else. You maxed out on Levofed. You may need something else. You maxed out on propofol. You may need something else. We need to make a decision. We can't freak out and say it's not working. So, staying calm, sticking to the process, and taking decisive action is what's going to take your trading to the next level. And this is why I say that as a critical care nurse, you already possess all of these skills, which is why I say critical care nurses make some of the best traders. Some of the best traders I know. And I mean, I didn't even know like they were nurses until we all talked about, hey, what's your background? I have 4 people in the room say I was a nurse. That's why I'm making this video, because I was like, you mean to tell me we're all nurses in this and we're not even working full time as nurses anymore? And they're like, yeah. So I'm here to make this video to motivate you, inspire you to say you do possess the skills of a trader already. You just haven't tried it yet. No one saves a patient alone in the ICU. We work together with pharmacy, we work together with physicians, we work together with social workers, we work together with the families. We are collaborating on so many different levels to take care of this one patient, right? We're collaborating with the whole team. We're collaborating with the surgical team. We are collaborating at every degree in order to work together to get this patient to a level that is way better than what they came to be able to send them to a lower level floor where they could potentially get discharged and go home. What I am telling you is that skill set of collaboration that you had to learn is the same skill set that you work with as a trader, right? Because in trading, we collaborate with different tools. We collaborate with other traders. We collaborate with people who are smarter than us or stronger than us at certain areas. I collaborate with a trader that may be good at reading filings. I collaborate with traders who may be good at reading charts better than me. I collaborate with traders who may be good at finding new stocks. I collaborate with traders who stay up to date with different types of technology or software coming out that may be able to teach it to me. I'm collaborating with people I don't even know in order to make the decisions that's necessary for me to be successful in this trade. And what I'm saying is you already possess those skills. Both worlds require teamwork. They require to be resourceful. And that's some of the things that you need to be able to make the best decisions, to be able to make the best trades, to be able to take care of this patient in the best way possible for them, right? So collaboration and tools are the same in trading, right? You're collaborating with physicians, pharmacy, RT, and social workers at work. You're collaborating with other traders. You're collaborating with software. You're collaborating with data in order to make the best decisions for your trade. So you already possess these skills, which is why I keep saying critical care nurses make some of the best traders. If you made it to the end, you should be proud of yourself, and you're dedicated to this, right? Some people won't make it to the end. Their brains are already fried from watching TikTok and Instagram Reels all day. Watching a 10, 20, 15-minute video is like, come on, guy, get to the point already. Anyways, the last part of this video is one of the most important parts. Now, trading could be intimidating because you're looking at patterns. You're looking at things you've never seen before. You're like, how do I read this chart? I'm going to tell you a little secret, man. In the ICU, you're reading A lines. You're watching the ventilator, making sure the patient is properly ventilating. You're looking at vital signs. You're looking at numbers. You're looking at the heart rate. You're looking at the blood pressure. You're looking at the oxygen saturation. You're looking at the temperature. You're looking at lab values. You're looking at hemodynamic monitoring numbers as CVPs. Some of you who are messing with swans, right? You're printing EKG strips. You have to look at the rhythm, determine if the rhythm is AFib, normal sinus rhythm, sinus tach. Is there a junctional block? You have to know all these things. What I'm telling you right now is that it's the same exact thing you do every day at work, watching numbers and determining when to make an intervention. If the map is below 65 or if the map is below 60, I am going to titrate this levofed. I am going to titrate the norepinephrine. I am going to titrate the phenol. I'm going to whatever that you're giving. That's the titratable drug, right? You're going to make an intervention. What I'm saying, it's the same thing as reading a chart. If the price reaches this level at the support level, I am going to buy. If it reaches my stop loss or my max loss for the day, I'm going to cut. You're making an intervention in that moment to make money, to extract money, to pull money out of the air, as my boy would say. We pull the money out pull money out the air in order to build wealth for your family. We're doing the same thing. So in my opinion, right? And I thought it was the last slide. I made a mistake. It's not. It's one more slide. You know, nurses are trained for this, right? You've trained for this. You can see the tiniest shifts in blood pressure, oxygen saturation, if the A line waveform is damp, if it's flattened, if it's not properly showing correctly, you know I need to make an intervention and correct the A line. Like, you know these things. So watching price action, watching volume, seeing buys of block shares coming in, all of these things you're doing this every day. You're watching numbers at work. You're watching numbers on the screen in the stock market in order to make money. This is why I say it again. Critical care nurses are some of the best traders. Have the skill set to be some of the best traders in the game. Now, if you made it to the end of the video, before I even start talking, I want to thank you for even watching this. I want to thank you for making it to the end, and I want to thank you for being serious. Now, going forward, I want you to hit the subscribe button right now. Don't waste no time. I don't have any time to waste. If you want to be a part of this, be a part of it. If you don't, go on with your life. I'm not really bothered if you subscribe or not. But moving forward, I want to talk about risk management, right? And protecting the patient. The patient in this scenario in trading, I want you to look at your account as a patient. Because you're an ICU nurse, you're a critical care nurse. You know, when you come in on the shift, give me the report. I need to know everything. Everything. Tell me the neuro, cardiac, respiratory, patient on blood sugars. What was the last one? How much urine the patient put out? Patient put out 500. Okay. What color? You need to know everything. Your account is the same. How much money do I have today? How many shares do I have of this trade? Did I sell all of my shares? Did I use a stop loss? I need to know everything about this stock. Tell me about the stock. What does it do? What sector is it in? Is it in industrials, or is it in artificial intelligence? Is it semiconductors? Okay. What's the share structure? What's the last time it had news? Is there any insider buying? You need to know everything about the stock the same way you know everything about the patient, because you're going to manage this stock. You're going to manage this trade the same way you come in every shift for 12 hours, you manage that patient. You're going to do the same thing with this trade. So ICU care means balancing risk versus reward to stabilize the patient. In trading, it's the same thing. We're balancing risk in order to stabilize our accounts, right? We're either going to leave here today with our accounts better than what we walked in, or we're going to leave here with it a little bit worse. And we're going to come back and we're going to manage the patient the next day. And we're going to either make the patient get better if it was a rough day. We're going to work harder to make the patient, we're going to make new interventions to make the patient or our accounts, increase in value, or we're going to manage risk, until we get the patient to stabilize, or we get our account to stabilize to a point where we're no longer losing money, right? So our number one goal in the ICU is patient safety, right? We're balancing interventions. We're trying to minimize risk. We're trying to stabilize the outcomes, and we protect capital at all costs, and we protect the patient's life at all costs, no matter what this patient must live. Even if the patient has to code today, we gonna code the patient. If the patient is not at the end, we're coding them. We're gonna save them. So even if your account is looking like it's about to code, meaning you're about to blow your account, we're gonna stop everything we're doing, cut out our losses. We're gonna go back to the drawing board. We're gonna learn again. We're gonna try to figure this out, and we're gonna manage this, because we need to make sure that that patient is alive. We need to make sure your account is alive at the end of this video. So just like we don't let the patient's heart rate crash, we don't let our account bleed out and crash either. Cutting losses early, locking in profits, is like stabilizing the vital signs. It keeps the system alive. It keeps what we're doing alive, and it allows us to trade, to live again, to trade another day. My goal for everyone in this video, if you made it this far, is to always remember this. If you take on this career, or you take on this skill set to develop it and to get to the level where I am at today, you must understand one thing. You must take profits relentlessly. Take profits relentlessly. And you must cut losses aggressively. You must cut them aggressively. I would never let my patient's heart rate go to zero. You should never let your account go to zero. Subscribe to this channel. If you want more, subscribe. I will have a Discord room or a community room. It will be free for the first X amount of members. I haven't thought about it yet. But I am just like you. I was just where you are today, but now I'm in CRNA school, right? I'm also a trader. I'm also, doing great things, for the community. I'm giving value now. I'm giving back to my people, my ICU nurses, people like me, because I want you to be able to live a good life too. So, good luck to all. Subscribe to the channel. This is Trading Gas Money. Follow me on X. And it's only up from here. You can do this. Good luck.